Hi everybody, welcome back to Yoga with Carlin. I'm Carlin and today's class is yoga to wind down. So when we think of winding down, we usually think of bedtime. So you can definitely do this class at the end of the day to kind of wind down your day. I also like to think of this class as a bit of a reset. So sometimes I'll do this type of class like midweek on a Wednesday when I'm feeling like I want to take a break from my normal workouts and just give my body some time to move, but in a more relaxing or gentle way. You can also use this class as a transition when you come home from work if you kind of need to reset. But as usual, you can take this class whenever you'd like, whenever is comfortable for you. We're not going to be using any props for this class today. And before we get started, please go to my profile, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notifications bell so that you never miss a free yoga class. You can also follow me on Instagram at Calm with Carlin for daily yoga, mindfulness, and meditation tips. We'll get started in Child's Pose whenever you're ready. I'm going to offer 3 options for Child's Pose today, depending on what your body is asking you for right now. So for your first option, we have a wide-legged Child's Pose with the toes together, knees as wide as you can get them. Just sit your seat back towards your heels, walk your hands forward, and just kind of melt your chest towards the ground. Maybe the forehead comes down. And for this variation of Child's Pose, we're really focusing on an opening in the hips with the knees wide. So if hip opening is what you need right now, you can take this variation. If you're looking for more of a shoulder release, you can bring the knees closer together. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't, whatever feels comfortable. And when you round forward, just take your arms long back at your sides with your palms facing up. And then curl the chin towards the chest and rest the forehead, maybe even the crown of the head down on the ground. Let the shoulders just round forward and relax. And finally, if you're looking for a nice stretch in the triceps, maybe you've been doing lots of chaturangas this week, you can take the knees however you'd like them. I like to find a happy medium, not all the way out to the edges of the mat, but not totally touching. And then walk the hands forward and bring the hands together in a prayer shape. And then take the thumbs to the back of the neck. Walk the elbows forward if you can. And really just press the elbows down into the ground. Feel a nice deep stretch in the triceps. You can always widen the knees even more if you want this to be in the hips as well. Whatever variation you're in, I'm going to stay here in this tricep stretch. Take about 5 deep breaths and really focus on the exhale. Focus on the breath leaving the body. And imagine that as the breath leaves the body, it takes tension with it. It takes tightness with it. It takes any sort of stress or anxiety that you're holding on to out of the body along with the breath. Last breath or 2 here. When you're ready, very gently come out of your child's pose, blink the eyes open, and make your way to a tabletop position, stacking your wrists underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. You can tuck the toes or untuck them, whatever feels better. We'll go through a couple rounds of cat-cow. On the inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. Pausing here, taking an extra breath, full cycle in through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. And then tuck the chin, round through the spine, press the ground away from you, let the head and neck hang heavy. Again, take an extra breath here, in through the nose, out through the nose or the mouth. And then let's start to move with the breath. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, tuck the chin, round through the spine. 3 more rounds here. Take your final round of cat-cow. Nice and slow, not moving too fast in class today. Again, we're winding down, giving ourselves permission to slow down. We don't always do that during the day. Coming back to your neutral tabletop position and keeping the left leg where it is, just step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. So we're in a short lizard lunge here. You can start to make some big circles, stretching out the wrists and lubricating that right hip joint, just moving the right knee, the right hip around in a big circle. Maybe the right leg straightens slightly as you come back. And then take that circle in the opposite direction. And then come back through center, and let's just find a gentle twist. Keep the left hand planted. Reach the right arm up to the sky. And you can stay here in this twist, or you can kick the left foot to the left seat and grab onto it with the right hand, adding a really gentle quad stretch. Take 2 breaths here. When you're ready, release that left foot, come back through center, and then gently start to walk that right foot out and back. I'm gonna widen my stance here so that the right foot is in line with the left knee, and you're really pressing down into the pinky edge side of the right foot. So we're kind of in a modified lunge here, side lunge, and we're gonna walk the hands forward and melt the chest down, coming into a twist on like a modified side lunge and a puppy pose. And you can stay here. You'll feel a nice stretch, hopefully in the right inner thigh. If you want, you can come back up to the palms of the hands underneath the shoulders. Take away the shoulder stretch in this pose. And then when you're ready, just gently walk the hands back towards the center of the body, and then move that right knee back underneath the right hip, and we'll take that on the other side. So gently take the left foot to the outside of the left hand, and we'll find a little bit of movement here, circling through that left hip joint. Imagine that your kneecap is here, moving nice and big. Maybe the left leg straightens ever so slightly as you come back in your circle. And then take those circles in the opposite direction. Again, you'll feel a gentle stretch in the wrist here as well. When you're ready, come back through center. And then keeping the right hand planted, lift the left fingertips up to the sky, find your twist. And then if you want, you can kick the right foot to the right seat, grab onto the right foot with the left hand, And find a gentle quad stretch, taking 2 breaths wherever you are. As you're ready, gently start to release. Take the left hand back to the inside of the left foot, and then start to walk that left foot back and out so that it comes in line with the right knee. Forgot what that was for a second. And then really press that left pinky edge side of the foot down into the mat. Feel the inner thighs start to stretch. You can stay here or you can walk the hands forward, melting the chest into a puppy pose variation, adding on a shoulder stretch as you breathe into the left inner thigh. As you're ready, make your way back in through center. Take that left knee underneath the left hip. Walk the hands slightly forward, spread the fingertips wide, and find a downward facing dog. And you can take any movement that feels good in your downward facing dog. Maybe you pedal out the feet, bending one knee at a time, straightening the opposite leg. Maybe you bend both knees at the same time, sinking your chest back to your thighs and reaching the crown of the head down to the ground, opening through the shoulders. Let the head and neck hang heavy here. Maybe shake the head yes and no. Feel that release. Keep focusing on the exhales here, using them to release tension from the body. And from here, we'll set up for a pigeon pose. On your inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. And on your exhale, draw the right knee towards the right wrist, the left foot towards the left wrist. And then walk that left foot back and come into your pigeon pose. Check that the left leg is nice and long behind you, one long extension of the hip. And then stay upright for your pigeon pose for just a second. Let's take some neck rolls, taking the right ear to the right shoulder, and then taking it around to the left ear. Just little half circles here, shape of a half moon. Right ear to right shoulder, chin to chest, left ear to left shoulder. And take your last half circle here. And then as you're ready, come into your resting pigeon pose, walking the hands forward, maybe coming down to your forearms, maybe coming all the way down to the forehead, the chest. If you want to add a little bit more in this pigeon pose, you can go ahead and open up through the left arm and then thread the left arm up, coming down to the left shoulder, the left ear. And this will intensify the stretch in the right hip and also stretch through the left shoulder. Deep breaths. Your exhale releases tension. Your inhale invites new calm energy into the body. And take your last breath here. And then when you're ready, walk yourself back up through center. And from here, we'll just step right back to our downward facing dog, taking a breath here. Notice the difference between the right leg and the left. Maybe the right leg feels slightly longer, slightly more open. Just pausing to notice, and then taking that to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, take the left knee in towards the left wrist, the right foot towards the right wrist. Drop the back knee. Walk that right foot back and then come into your pigeon pose. Again, we'll take those neck circles this time, starting on the left ear to left shoulder. Tuck the chin to the chest, take it around, right ear to right shoulder. Just keep moving like that. Opening through the sides of the neck. When you're ready, come back through center and walk yourself into your resting pigeon pose, whatever that looks like for you today. Maybe you're on the forearms. Maybe the forehead comes all the way down to the ground. Breathe here nice and big. And if you want to add that thread of the right arm, reach the right arm up to the sky and then thread the right arm underneath the left, coming down to the right shoulder, the right ear. And this feels a lot more intense in my body. So I'm really tuning into my breath, allowing my deep, long inhales and exhales to help me melt into my body, to help me accept that I am safe here. I'm safe to open up. I'm safe to wind down. Take one more big deep breath. And then as you're ready, start to walk yourself back up through center. And again, we'll just step right back to our downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, go ahead and drop the knees and come onto your seat, sending the legs out long in front of you. We'll set up for one forward fold here. And in your forward fold, let's start by keeping the knees bent. So bend the knees as much as you'd like, even if the knees are all the way up to the chest, that's perfectly fine. I'm gonna keep my legs at like a 90-degree angle and just grab onto my big toes, bring my chest to my thigh, and then just round forward, resting my head in between the knees, stretching through the upper back and the back of the neck. You're welcome to stay here if this feels nice. If you'd like, you can gradually start to straighten the legs. As you move the heels forward to straighten the legs, see if you can keep the chest connected to the thighs. And just moving an inch or two at a time, making sure every time you move, you're sticking with the breath. You might eventually come to straight legs. Maybe you keep the knees bent. Two more breaths wherever you are. And as you're ready, slowly make your way up to a seated position, straightening the legs all the way, taking the arms long in front of you, and slowly coming on to the back. Once you arrive, lying down on your back, we'll take the knees in to touch, taking the feet out wide for a broken bridge pose. Allow this posture to release the low back. Notice any sensation that this brings to the body. And see if you can slow your breath down even more than you previously did in class. Really just let go. And we'll start to windshield wiper the legs side to side. You can start by bringing the arms to cactus or to a T shape. And then just take the knees to the right and to the left. And then the next time your knees land on the left side, just keep them there. Take this gentle supine twist. Maybe gaze over your right shoulder. And for a little bit more, you might take that left foot and place it on top of the right knee. When you're ready, come back through center and we'll windshield wiper the legs again, just a couple times. And this time when the legs come off to the right side, you can keep them there, taking your gaze to the left, maybe lifting up that right foot and resting it on top of the left knee. As you're ready, make your way back through center, hugging the knees into the chest this time, giving yourself one final squeeze, taking a big deep inhale through the nose. And on your exhale, let the breath go as you move into your Shavasana, your final resting pose. Letting the legs and the arms go out long, palms facing up or down. Take a moment to scan the body as you allow it to sink down into the mat beneath you, feeling supported by the earth, starting with the back of the head as it melts into the ground, down to the backs of the shoulders, the upper and mid back. Notice this small sliver of space between the low back and the ground, the natural curve of the spine. As the seat and the hips heavily settle down into the mat, the calves, the heels, settling in, knowing that there is nothing to do, nowhere to be that is as important as this next moment for you. stay here for as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come out, find gentle movements in the body, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling wrists and ankles, eventually finding a full body stretch. Pausing here, extending through the fingertips, pointing through the toes, and then rolling into the fetal position on either the left or the right side. And with the eyes closed or the gaze soft, transitioning on to the seat. And when you arrive in your seated position, bringing the hands to heart center. Deeply inhale through the nose. Pause at the top, hold the breath. And then exhale, sigh it out. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me. Be sure to leave a comment below. Let me know how you liked class or any suggestions you have for future classes. And please subscribe to my channel. Namaste.